Welcome to Courageous Conversations with Dr. Argie. Here, we transform lives, one courageous conversation at a time.
Hey, girl.
What's up, girl?
How are you? Thank you for having me.
Look at you, Mama. Oh, my gosh.
Thank you.
Gorgeous.
Why is that? Why is
Because it
that?
just accentuates your beautiful figure.
Thank
It's
you.
colorful.
Thank you.
Like, and let me just underscore that. Before I met my husband, I would wear like brown and gray and black.
And now you're colorful.
And now I wear like all these
That's how you
colors
know it's a good marriage, though.
He was like, but he said in the beginning, he was like, you have any other colors or whatever? I was
Like, he wanted you to brighten it up a little bit.
I was like, well, what's wrong with this? He was like, you just have such beautiful color. And I just think color.
So he was right, though. Now you have color in your glasses, your shirt, your jewelry, all of it.
I love it. So, it's just like black girl magic.
I love it.
So listen, are you from Philly originally?
So I was born in Philly, West Oak Lane, and then I was raised in Montgomery County.
Okay.
Yes.
So when you're born in Philly,
yes,
the question usually is,
what
high school did you go to?
North Penn. So that's why I can't say I'm from Philly, I feel like.
Oh, so we literally just had this conversation the other day.
I'm interested because I go through this all the time with people.
Listen, so I went to Howard and everybody would say, even if they lived in Montgomery County or Bucks County, they would say, I'm from Philly because, you want to be like hard or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And so then I realized people were from Jersey and they were saying that they were from
Philly. They do. Or Delco.
Right?
Like just like the surrounding areas.
I'm going to say, you look like a Philly girl to me.
I mean, I feel like most people adopt me as a Philly girl, but then some people, they try to be technical with it. So,
no, we are adopting you. We're adopting you.
I love
You're
that.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome to Courageous Conversations with Dr. Argie.
Happy to be here.
Let's get into it.
Dad.
I'm so excited. So,
and you have the note cards. Oh my! I'm used to being the one who asked the question.
Well, okay, you in a different seat today.
Okay,
we're just gonna have a conversation. It's gonna be all
it.
good. So, I want to start off by saying, like, we have hung out in some of the very same places because we used to do Good Day Philly for years. Belinda,
that is my girl. That is my girl.
Shout out to Belinda.
Yeah, she's like a mentor to me. Well, she has been instrumental in my career, the ups, the downs, for sure.
She has been a mentor to so many people. And when I tell you, she has ushered many of us as Black men and women into TV.
Yep.
She was not the first time that I was on TV. However, around that time when I was doing a lot of local media work, some of y'all heard about me, had me come in, and she was like, oh my God. She was like, you're amazing. We're going to have you come back over and over and over. And she does that for so many. So I just want to give her the shout out because a lot of people will claim you, but not a lot of people were there day one.
Nope.
Right?
Not at all.
They want to, be with you when you're coming up, or you come up. But Belinda has been there for so many people.
She has. And I actually used to be an intern there. And she was good to me when I was an intern. So you know that someone's a good person when you're a nobody, Well,
and you're never nobody.
Never nobody.
You're always somebody.
The thing in the news industry is that when I was interning, people would say intern.
Yeah.
No name.
Yeah.
And she would say Cheyenne.
Wow. Well, I love Mike and Alex. I was also down back. I was there. I know that's your soror. I know, but we're part of the Divine Nine. I just, went a different.
Oh, I thought. That's okay. Okay.
Shout out to half of my family members are AKs.
Okay, right? I'm the first Greek person in my family.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, the first one.
Wow. Chanel.
Okay. Yes. Jones. I never met her.
She was amazing. I literally, before we end, I'm going to show you a picture.
Okay.
Of us that's in my desk. And I used to do a show called Ask the Expert on Good Day Philly every Monday. And Chanel, because of her height, she used to have to stand up on a little box.
Is she short?
She's very,
On TV, like people always say that I look tall and I'm short. But I would never know that she's short.
Yeah. So I'll show you the picture. But that was back in the day. This was before her marriage. It was before her children. It was like when she was just coming into the media space, if you will. And I was working as a therapist, but also doing a lot of media work. And those were the good old days.
Yeah, it was. I mean, the media industry is now, a lot different.
So did you always? So here's the thing. I'm going to sort of set the stage because I always knew that I wanted
Okay.
to help people. And I always knew that I wanted to work with people in relationships. I never had the desire to be in media. That was
Okay.
not my goal. And someone said for an agency that I was working for, they were like, Archie, you would be great in media. I think I want you for my show. And I was like, I'm a therapist. I don't do that.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, you don't understand. You can talk about the thing that you love because in mental health, that space, everyone is connected. And in relational health, everyone is connected. So we're going to build a show around you and you can do it and share information with a larger audience.
Absolutely.
And so I first
Whoever told you that?
It was fire. I mean, I don't think I don't think I was that good back then.
No, don't say
I
that.
really don't. I was just getting to what I did know though is that I had a message and that I could broadcast that message to a larger audience.
That's
and
all
I
you need.
fell in love with that marriage,
That's all
right?
you need.
So did you always know that you wanted to be in media?
No, not at all. Not at all. I always wanted to be a soccer player first.
Really?
Yeah, I wanted
So
to
you're
be
an athlete.
Yes, I played like every sport, but soccer was like the sport. And it was
So are you excited about FIFA being here?
I am, but the weird thing about me is though I love playing soccer, I'm not a huge soccer watcher. Like my family still has no clue how I got into soccer. You know, my whole family's from the city. You know, it wasn't a big sport for people who look like me. I was the only Black girl on my team. Like my mom said that she just took me to like a community college fair one day, and then I just like ended up at the soccer field and just was stuck on it. But yeah, I played soccer for 20 something years.
Wow.
I only stopped.
You in college too?
No, so in college I ended up playing rec because I ended up pledging.
Okay.
So that was kind of like, you know, became my focus. And when you're an athlete, that's really all you can do. And, you know, sorority life takes over. But I wanted to be a lawyer after a soccer player. And then I ended up a lawyer. I actually went to Westchester for poli-sci.
Okay.
I went to Westchester for poli-sci. I love law, but then I ended up changing because I was just into the media. I was into communications. I was into specifically sports. So I thought about being a sports, like I watched a lot of ESPN growing up. I have an older brother. So that was like all I watched. So I ended up getting into like sports media, ended up being a sideline reporter for the football team at Westchester.
Wow.
Then ended up being our sports anchor at Westchester. And then I ended up leaving sports when I ended up like going into my career just because I love sports, but I also, the reason I wanted to be a lawyer was because I wanted to impact people.
Okay.
And in sport, I didn't really feel like I was like in the community doing stories that were everyday impacting people. So I ended up switching, and I still do a lot of sports. So I ended up switching to news, and that's what I've been doing since. But no, I did not think, I was very quiet as a kid. I was super shy. My mom was a teacher, and she was like constantly getting calls from my teacher, saying, she won't talk. Like I would not, I had a speech impediment. And my mom was actually a teacher at my school. So it was her friends calling her like, hey, like, you know, we're a little bit concerned. Shy won't talk. So all of my teachers, like, they're on my Facebook all the time. Like, this is crazy that you do this, because they're like, you would not talk.
Oh my God. So we have a similar story because I wouldn't speak above a whisper.
Really?
I was so shy when I was a kid. I was a nerd. I was shy.
Yeah, I get it.
Never have imagined that I would be speaking to millions of people on TV or in these platforms.
Not one bit.
But I also know that when we're called to do something, right, and we show up as our very best, then, you know, the world is our oyster, especially as beautiful Black women. Brilliant Black women, right?
Yeah.
So we have something else in common.
Okay.
I am too an Emmy nominated media personality.
What?
Right? So I did a segment called All Teched Out.
Okay.
Joyce Evans was the interviewer.
Oh my God. Joyce is the best.
She is the and it's my soror.
I looked up to her so much growing up.
She is the GOAT.
She is.
Right?
She is.
And that, you know, it got a nomination.
Okay.
So it was amazing. So I was looking at all the stuff that you had done, and you got a nomination for that plane crash. Right?
I did. That was like,
that was the one in Philly in the Northeast, right?
The Northeast plane crash, yeah.
It's crazy.
It was wild. It's like one of those things that I will never forget. And that day, it's crazy because I was actually off work. I was off work. Yeah, I was off work. I was working out. I was at Planet Fitness.
You working out, girl.
Yeah, I was working out. I was at Planet Fitness all the way out in Lansdale, and like suddenly my phone starts like buzzing, and I'm seeing all of these like crazy images, if you remember.
Yeah.
And
I remember exactly
to
where
the
I was.
point that I was like, is this real? Like, is this real? But when I started getting emails from the station, I'm like, this is real, a plane crash. I remember I was literally like I swear, I don't even know if I stopped the machine. I like jumped off the machine. I texted my boss because I was also in a position at that point to where, well, I mean, I'm just hungry. I'm hungry. And it's a Friday night. And if you know anything about the news cycle, we're very like, the staffing on weekends, it's very small. No one wants to work weekends. I text my boss and I'm like, hey, I'm seeing what's happening. Like, do you need me? He was like, yeah, get to Philly. So I go rush home. I throw on, I don't even shower. I throw, because it was pouring rain, if you remember.
I remember.
Pouring rain. I put on a baseball cap, put on a jacket, grabbed my work bag. My mom drove me down there because Northeast Philly was crazy. You couldn't, it was all blocked. So I'm like, if I drive, I'm not getting anywhere. Like, I'm not getting anywhere. Drove me down there, and then I was reporting in the rain for 6 hours, like to the point that when I got off air, me and my photog looked at each other and we were like physically sick. But we just had so much like adrenaline running the whole time. We didn't even realize that we were literally like we were freezing out there, like because of the wet, and it was cold. Fortunately, not freezing, but it was cold.
I remember this couple that I saw on TV, and they were carrying groceries into their house. And I guess they had like a Ring camera or something.
Oh, yes. That video
like
was crazy.
And then you heard this big crash, and then they like kind of blew them into the house. So I remember seeing that. And then my husband called my bonus daughter because she lives near there.
Oh, that's scary.
And so it was really scary. And she goes shopping in that shopping mall all the time. So he got in touch with her, and she was like, I'm good, I'm fine. Well, she had just left there an hour before. And so it just it reminds you, it was a blessing for sure that we still have them, our grandson, but it also reminds you of how fragile life is. Like these people were just going about their everyday life. Yeah. And if you remember, a day before, there was the plane crash in DC.
Yep. And I was like very closely monitoring that because I worked in DC. That was my last month. Actually, I just finished working at DC because for a while I was working both places. So I was still very tapped into the news.
You were hungry, girl.
I know I was. I was a crazy lady. I was crazy. But I was still very tapped into the DC plane crash. And I actually tied that into our coverage because at that point, people, if you remember, there were a bunch of weird, like small plane crashes around that time. So people were concerned. There were a lot of concerns from people during that time, like with the plane crashes. If you remember also, we also had just, think we just won the Super Bowl, or we were about to go to the Super Bowl.
Okay.
So it was weird because like the whole city was like on a high.
Yeah, because everybody's wearing green.
Yes,
right?
the whole city was on a high. And then this like changed the entire mood of the city. So like it even was hard for like the elected officials and stuff, like such as like the mayor, who was in like celebration mode. Oh, yep. Listen, not mad at it. Not mad at it. But you know, she was like in celebration mode, but also in like emergency management mode. So it was like super interesting. It was right before the Super Bowl because I remember we were it was weird because some of the travel plans to go to the Super Bowl got pushed back because of the plane crash.
Right. So when you think about that time, right, with life being fragile, and you then leaving your mom driving you there and seeing all the carnage, and even come to find out that that was a plane for this little girl that they were flying her to somewhere else, to be treated. And it just was so heart-wrenching. When you think about your role as a reporter, your role as a media personality, and you get to report on humanity, the highs and lows of humanity, whether it be a sporting event or whether it be a crash or something tragic like, Kayla Scott, for example.
Yeah, I reported on her.
I remember saying you reported on her. How does that change you? And what do you learn about yourself from that?
I'm a person that all of my stories like stick with me forever.
Really?
Like I remember the feeling. I remember the grieving family members. I remember everything about it. In the moment, I stay composed because it's not about me.
Mm.
You know, oftentimes people will say, like, how do you keep it together? And it's like, I have to, because the person I'm interviewing is breaking down. I can't go breaking down with the person. You know, I have to maintain my composure and be a support system for that person. So while it's happening, I'm just trying to stay professional. Of course, behind the scenes, like, for instance, like the next day I did interviews with people whose, you know, homes were blown up and destroyed. And, you know, right after the interview, I'm rubbing backs, I'm crying with them, I'm holding hands. Like, someone had their little daughter, the daughter sitting on my lap. Like, there's so many different parts of the story, like, that people don't see. I think sometimes people think we go to these stories, which some journalists do, we put the mics in people's faces and then we go on. And it's like, no, we're with these people, like, in very, very intimate moments. But I think it just makes you realize how short life is. It's just very, very short, and just, like, grateful for every day. Like, sometimes when I complain about things, I'm just like, look at what you just reported on yesterday, you know? So, yeah.
Yeah. So when you reported on Kayla Scott, right?
Yeah.
That experience, I will tell you, as a therapist who listens to people's problems for a living,
Yeah.
and you know, so we call ourselves the firefighters as well, similar to you.
Yeah.
We
First
go
responder.
into the
Yeah.
pain, right?
For sure.
And for some reason, that particular story touched me.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it touched many people in lots of different ways.
Mhm.
For me specifically, part of it was that is the track that I take on my way home every single night.
Wow.
I
Yeah.
go down Germantown Avenue. I head over on one of the cross streets, and I end up on Ardley,
Yeah.
right? And then it takes us to our home, right? And so I couldn't stop thinking to myself, was I driving down the street at the time when this young lady was in distress?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or was she in distress, and had she expired, and
Yeah.
I was driving down the street and I didn't know, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and I didn't know this woman, but I couldn't stop thinking about it.
Right.
And it touched so many people, partly because I think she was just at the beginning of her life.
Yeah.
Like so many young people who are young and driven and beginning the journey,
Definitely.
and it was taken away from her. Did that impact you?
It did. It impacted me, one, because, you know, we're around the same age group. I feel like I kind of saw parts of her in myself and parts of myself in her. But what really stood out to me about that story is, I mean, there's no secret that in the media, missing girls and women who are blonde hair, blue eyed, are prioritized in interest, right? But this particular case, she was treated in that same way. People saw Kata as, like, their little sister, as their daughter. And I don't know what it was that appealed to people's heartstring, but it really, really did. And I think it was also, like, the mystery of it too. It was so, like, mysterious. And as media, there were things that we knew, because sometimes people say, well, why aren't you reporting this and why aren't you reporting that? And the thing is, we hold back a lot of information sometimes out of respect for the family. The media, we know everything. And, like, you go on TikTok and they'll be sharing these, like, very intimate details about things, and it's just not appropriate, you know, especially because we have direct contact with these family members. Like, you know, we were talking to her dad almost, like, every day. So if certain details come out, we're not sharing them unless it's relevant to the case and public interest. But it was just a horrific case. It was horrific, and it's still going on. It's still going on. Like, he was just in court. Keon King, will never forget, you know, names. That's the suspect's name. He was just in court this week, so it's continuous, and it was definitely a hard one to report. I remember, I reported the day that her remains were found. Like, I was where her remains were found. Actually, I was at the school where her remains were found. Yeah.
You know, that the point about, you know, a human life.
Yeah.
I think that we live in a culture oftentimes where our human life and our bodies, and in particular, oftentimes Black bodies, women and men, aren't really prioritized, as you say. And part of that is a cultural thing. I think that we've gone into this social media space where, everything is just moving so quickly that we don't really feel. And I like to say, in order to heal, you have to feel, but you can't heal what you don't reveal. And once you reveal it, you can deal with what's real.
Yeah.
Right? It's a play on words, but it's like if you move too fast, you'll miss it. But if you slow it down, you recognize the real vulnerability of life, right? And how we matter. We all matter. And so that kind of takes me to this idea about like relationships.
Okay.
Right? As a therapist, right? I believe in having courageous conversations. Part of our problem, though, is that in order to be in a healthy relationship, you sort of got to go deep.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
You have to.
And if you stay surface,
Yeah.
you will never realize the full depth of a person, either with yourself or with someone else.
True.
So when's the last time you had a courageous conversation with yourself?
All the time. I'm always having like courageous conversations with myself, I would say. Yeah, all the time. Probably the last time this week for sure. Maybe 2 days ago. I like having those conversations with myself in the shower.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
in the shower. I feel like that's the only time that my mind like is a little bit clear. And I kind of reflect on the day and reflect on different messages. But I feel like I'm always reflecting. I'm self-reflective. But I mean, the work is hard, but I try to do it as much as possible.
So when you think about, and they call you shy?
Shy, yeah.
And you think about shy, I'm going to say like letting go. I oftentimes think that we keep people and things in our lives way past its expiration date.
I agree.
Right? And so have you had an experience where you knew you needed to let go of something or someone?
Yeah.
And you knew they weren't good for you or the thing wasn't good for you, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And you had to reconcile, like, what is this that I'm holding on to the thing that is not good for me? And despite all the facts that point to me needing to let it go, I haven't done that. When was that? When have you ever experienced that?
I feel like, when have I experienced
it? Ever.
No, I have definitely. I'm like, there's one particular moment that stands out to me, but I'm like, there has to be a more relevant. But the one that stands out to me was probably in college, like a relationship I knew that, I had to leave. But also I also do believe in like weaning yourself to a certain extent and like giving yourself that grace and not pulling the rug from underneath of you. Especially, of course, if you're able to wean yourself. Sometimes you got to cold turkey something.
Yeah. Like,
you have to cold turkey.
Pull the Band-Aid off
and just cry for the week. And I'm a person where like I will be super upset about something, but I get over things fairly quickly. I think because my life moves so quickly. But I believe in giving yourself also grace during those times too. Like, you may know like something's not right, but wean yourself. Do it on your terms. Do it on your terms.
I mean, I appreciate that. The weaning of yourself, I mean, it's a process.
Yeah.
And, I had somebody tell me, they were going through a whole lot and they need to break up with someone. But they were like, I got so much going on.
Yes.
I can't handle that right now.
Yep.
And so it was a process of methodically getting to a place where they could actually make that separation.
Absolutely.
Right? But I also think that, sometimes you just got to be like, this ain't good for me.
Yeah. And just, I'm out.
Yeah. Deuces.
Yeah.
So as a media personality, right, I think about many times where I felt like I had to be on.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And I also found many times where I felt that there wasn't the balance that I wanted to have. And you talk about being hungry. You talk about like, working in DC and working in Philly and all those things. Have you gotten to a place where you understand when your mental health is taking a hit?
Definitely. For instance, on Tuesday, I had just a rot day. I let myself have a complete rot day.
A rot day?
A rot
What's
day.
A rot day?
Rot day is you do absolutely nothing.
Why do you call it a rot day?
Because you're just rotting in bed. Rotting away in bed. Rotting. And that's all I did. I slept in. I was exhausted. My birthday was just like a week ago. So I was
Happy
on
birthday.
Thank
Happy
you.
birthday.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I was on go for my birthday celebrating, was working as well throughout my birthday. It was just a lot going on. Some hard stories that I covered. And then on Tuesday I said, you know what, I'm just not going to do anything. I have the day off. So I just laid in bed, watched Love Island,
Love Island?
took a nap in the middle of the day, closed my blinds. Like I just had and that was just like a reset day for me. And then the next day I felt better. So I always give myself that time to reset whenever I need to. And I sometimes feel like I'm like, oh, get up, like go to the gym. That's like the gym will be there tomorrow. Like this one workout is not going to, you're not going to lose 5 pounds from this one workout. So I give myself the time when I need to, but I always am like checking in with myself mentally. Like, yeah, I'm always checking in with myself mentally of when I feel tired, when I feel worn out. Like these last 2 days I was on breaking news and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to need, another, day soon of nothing. And
I love it. I love it because I believe that rest
yeah,
is a revolutionary act of self-care.
it is.
Right? It's a revolutionary. And oftentimes we're told as Black women, just keep going, just push through. You can do it, get over it, right? And the reality of it is we have to understand
Yes,
that the body keeps score and the mind keeps score.
it does.
And we need to figure out, like, how do we take better care of ourselves? Because if we take better care of ourselves, then the people we're in close proximity, they get the overflow of us being the best versions of ourselves. They don't get from an empty cup or the deficit.
Yeah,
right?
You have to.
Yeah,
you have to. I would say I try to be. I'm pretty good at that. I'm pretty good at that. Sometimes I run myself down too much, but I'm pretty good at taking the time when I need to, though.
Do you have anyone in your life that checks you?
I would say my mom, she'll say, okay, Shy, slow down. Like she'll say what she says. She's like, you're running. That's what she says. She's like, you're running. And I get mad. I'm like mad. I'm like, wait, she's like, you're running. But what she means by that is like, I'm seeing you like this.
I'm seeing you spiraling.
I'm seeing you spiraling. So she says it. And then like my grandmother, my mom, they'll sometimes be like, okay, like, they'll say you can't do everything. That's like what they'll say to me is like, you can't do everything, Shy. Like you can't be at all of your friends' things and also do all your events and go to job. Like you are doing too much, so.
Wow.
And I do, even if I get like annoyed in the moment, I take note and then I'm like, okay, like I'm probably doing a little too much.
Doing too much. So for those of you that are watching, this is Courageous Conversations with Dr. Argie, and we are having the amazing conversation.
Oh, please.
Like, she is amazing, right? So if you like this content, you will follow, share, like, let everybody know we're having these good conversations. And by the way, the courageous conversations is something that we all need to have. If we're not having courageous conversations, we're having shallow conversations. And that's not going to get us where we need to go. So come on along with the journey. So
I love that.
Listen, so your family dynamic.
Okay.
I am of course, a person who works with families for a living. And one of the things that I believe is that your family of origin, right? We call it the FOO. It impacts us earlier, more frequently, more powerfully, more profoundly. And it's really powerful, right? But if we don't know that our family of origin is impacting us, then it's sometimes having an effect that we're unaware of.
Yeah.
And so tell me about your family, like your mom, dad, siblings.
Sure. So my mom and dad, they were married when I was born, and then they divorced a few years later. That's when we lived in West Oakland. So when they divorced, me and my mom moved up to Montgomery County because she was a Philly public school teacher. And then she got a job out in the suburbs. So then we ended up moving to the suburbs. So that's how we ended up there. My dad stayed in North Philly. He's a retired Philly cop.
So is mine.
Oh, in the world? Yes, my dad, he was at the 35th. He was at the 35th. Yeah, my whole life.
Wow. Southwest. My dad was at Southwest. And then he became a homicide detective, and then he retired from the roundhouse.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a great career.
He's 90 years young right now.
Are you serious? That's a blessing.
He's rocking it out.
That is a blessing. Blessing.
Yeah. So your mom, they divorced, right?
Yes.
And then
Yeah. My dad said, because they used to have the rule that, well, my dad would have stayed in North Philly anyway, but that police officers used to have to live where you work.
Yeah.
And they changed that rule. So he stayed in North Philly. He came into the marriage with a daughter a few years older than me. My mom came into the marriage with my brother, who is 10 years older than me.
Gotcha.
So I have 2 older siblings, but I grew to be much closer to my brother because he lived with me and my mom.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, and then when we moved to the suburbs, we lived, because my parents, they divorced. So my mom, she was still rebuilding her life. So we bought a home in North Wales, and it was like a multi-generational home. It was the coolest thing. It was me, my mom, my grandmother, my godmom, my great-grandmother, my brother, who else? And then we also foster, and we ended up adopting my 2 cousins' uncles. So it was a house full of almost like 10 people.
Wow.
10 people.
Oh my God.
And it was plenty of space, but that's how we made it, made it work. So I lived there for probably almost 10 years, like most of my elementary school experience.
Wow. So you said great grandmother, grandmother, mother, godmother.
Yes.
Like all these women.
Yep. And then it was three of my adopted uncles.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. They're all my age. So it's almost like I grew up with like 4 brothers.
You had like a whole village.
It was it was the best experience. Best experience.
So I'm imagining that your uncle brothers were very protective of you since you were like the youngest.
Oh my God.
A little bit, right?
Yes.
Did you not like that, or how did you deal with that?
Actually, it didn't bother me much. There were different instances. For instance, just how I moved about things. I'm like, my brother. I'm like, oh, my brother. Like, how I'm like, my brother's gonna act like this, or like, if he comes, God, if he comes, that type of thing. But it really didn't bother me too much. My mom being overprotective bothered me more than the guys, more so. But it didn't bother me much because I knew it was coming from love. It didn't, but they definitely did not play at all. Still to this day.
Wow.
Still to this day.
So as a professional woman, oftentimes I recognize that I focus so much on my career that I lost sight of some other parts of my life that I realized I didn't put a lot of energy into earlier on. And, then I felt like I had to make up ground. And by the time I went back into sort of the dating scene, it was different. Tell me about the dating scene these days as a professional woman that has a lot going on. Do you ever feel like you gotta like take it down a notch? Not be so bold and brilliant in order to meet the space, if you will, of dating.
It's just a weird space. It's a very weird space, and I feel like social media makes it even weirder and more strange. I do feel what I get often from people is like, I was afraid to approach you. And I'm like, what do I come across like mean? Or they're like, nah, so that's what I get.
You come across as brilliant.
Thank you.
But the brilliance of you and the beauty of you, I think can be very intimidating to some people. And guess what? If they're intimidated, then they're not the best.
See ya.
Right?
See ya,
yeah.
It's just a strange place. I feel like the battle for me is just time. It's time. It's like after I get off of work some days, I don't want to go on a date. I want to go to bed. I want to go to bed, or I want to hang with my like girlfriends or something like that. Like I don't want to go on a date, sometimes. But you have to force yourself. I feel like that's where I am right now, is like force myself, but I also feel like if you have to force yourself to do something, you don't like the person.
Yeah, well,
like I don't that part. I really do. I feel like if you have to force, I'm like that, right? Those things will tell you a lot about how you feel about someone. Like if you are dreading going, it's like, why am I dreading going to this date? And it's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to, so, but I try to balance. I definitely am a person who balances everything. Like I balance fun, I balance work, and I balance dating. I wouldn't say work is my priority, but I definitely have never been in a period to where I just like forgot all about dating. there has been a period when I was out in DC. After I went through a breakup, I was strategically like, I'm not going to date for a few years.
A few years.
Yeah, a few years. Because I was in like a relationship in high school, and then I had my college sweetheart, and then like I was just like, I'm in a new city. It's the middle of a pandemic. I want to just get to know myself. I go to therapy, and enjoy my girlfriends, and just focus on my new life. So I did intentionally one period just be like, I wasn't against it, but I wasn't actively dating though either.
What is the thing I know for me when in therapy, right? And by the way, every therapist needs a good therapist, right? You don't want to be doing this work and you're not having somebody to process with. One of the things I learned about myself in therapy is that oftentimes I was people pleasing. I was so focused on giving to everyone else that I forgot about myself.
Yeah.
And then what happened is that I would partner with people that sort of caught the vibe of what I was doing in my other relationships. And they were like, oh, she's the person that takes care of everybody. So then there was another dependent in my life.
Right.
And then I was wanting to please. So then, I was forgetting about myself. Yeah. And so my therapist challenged me, right? And I challenged, of course, my clients. Are you in reciprocal relationships? Because if you're in too many relationships where you're taking care of everybody else and nobody's actually taking care of you, they're upside down.
Oh, completely.
Yeah. Have you, so would you consider yourself to be a people pleaser? How's that work for you in your relationship?
I wouldn't, just because kind of going back to the dynamic of me growing up as the baby. I was also the baby. So I was never the caretaker. I was never like played a caretaker role. So I wouldn't say that I'm definitely considerate of other people, but I wouldn't say I'm a people pleaser. I think there's other elements that may show up in terms of that, but not really people pleasing.
Yeah. Have you ever found yourself like trying to find your voice, or you said you were shy when you were younger, but I'm talking about as a fully grown adult professional woman. We find ourselves in spaces and places oftentimes where we become either marginalized or invisible or othered. And we have to fight through all of that, maybe some imposter syndrome, or just feeling like, well, why is it that they're focusing attention on someone else?
Yes.
Have you found yourself there?
Oh, yeah. I've gone through a lot of imposter syndrome in my career, a lot of that, because there's not a lot of us. And, there's not a lot of us specifically. There's not a lot of dark-skinned Black women in media, that are on camera, in front. So that's something. And we always have to work twice as hard for everything, twice as hard. There's been a lot of no's that I've had to go through. There's been a lot of, and I'm a reflective person, and there's been some no's that I'm like, okay, but there's been some no's where it's like, I was screwed over.
It wasn't really. It was no.
Yeah, like it was. It was some no's for some other reasons. So I definitely have gone. I still do. Like I still go through that all the time of like that imposter syndrome, and that's hard to get past. It's hard to get past. But I think that I definitely feel like I've found my voice more. I felt more confident in my voice. Like I'm a very blunt person sometimes, and I feel like sometimes I would, try like not to be so, blunt and try to soften things up a little bit, which I think is useful. But also at the same time, it's like, listen, this is my message. This is my message. This is what I'm coming across. And I feel like once I've gotten more comfortable saying what I want, like it's gotten me further. Because one thing about news, like you have to say, this is what I want. If you want that gig, you have to. And I used to just be so shy about it. Like I would think the opportunity was going to come to me. And it's just not.
Yeah.
It's just not. You can you can be the top worker, but like if you don't march in that office and say, hey, do you see everything that I'm doing? And this is what I want, you're not going to get it.
Yeah. You got to advocate for yourself.
You have to.
Right. And, and part of, even in the book, at the last chapter, we've got a bonus chapter and we're out there on our tour now. And that's based on the still I rise mentality.
Okay.
Right. Dr. Maya Angelou says, and still I rise.
Yes.
And several of the weeks of those, chapters that I wrote is about standing up you stand up and you show up and you speak up and you elevate up. And once you've done your work, it's now time to showcase to the world what you have to bring to the table, right?
Absolutely.
And everybody won't get it, right?
know.
And if
Most
it's not,
people won't.
maybe if they don't get it, it's not for them to get it, right? They're not your people, they're not your tribe, they're not your community. You got to move on. But for many of us, we allow that to like diminish our light, right? And we've got this bright light, and it gets dimmed. And so, what would you say to the next generation of media women, based on what you've learned so far?
It's hard because the media industry is changing so much. So the advice that I would have given students and those after me 5 years ago, I would not give them the same advice professionally, but I would say that I would give them the same advice in terms of how to navigate the industry, which is what you just said, always advocate for yourself. Always, and don't, it has to be someone that gets the position. So why not you? I feel like earlier in my career, I was sometimes just so afraid to like speak up for like what I wanted, and just kind of felt like, I don't know, like, do I deserve this, this position? So I would go in with that type of energy, even if you are scared, even if like your voice is shaking while you're doing it. There's been times I've been in a negotiating room trying to like say I'm worth this amount of money, and I'm like shaking, but I'm getting the job done.
Who's shaking? And
I'm getting the job done. But I would say and also just know who you are. Like what I'm very proud of is that throughout my career, I have never compromised my integrity. Like no one can ever say that I've compromised my integrity or did something that is against my beliefs. Never in my career. So that is something that like I find comfort in. If there were different risks that I was willing to take or play play dirty, would I have maybe sometimes been a little bit further along, but I wouldn't be able to sleep at night. So like don't ever compromise your integrity, because this is an industry, like it's very real, the things that people say about getting ahead in different ways, and it's just not worth it. Do not compromise your integrity for any position. Don't do it.
I love that, because I think that the regret down the line, you just don't know what twists and turns, what trials and tribulations what curveballs life is gonna bring you, right? And you also don't know, I had somebody used to say to me, like, those same people that you see on the way up are those people that you see on the way down. Right?
Exactly.
And so you're gonna find, and I've got, I'm clearly older than you. I have found that my integrity has served me so well, because people then that you see 20 years later are like, this is the person that supported me or helped me or affirmed me, or just if I didn't do much, I didn't, throw you under the bus. I didn't do anything to harm you. Right. So here's the thing, right? At the very end, usually we do this thing where we have a message that is left for the next person that we've had a conversation with, right? And then we ask for you to leave a message. Right? And so in my therapy sessions, I usually say, what is an anchor word? So I'm going to ask you to think about that. What is an anchor word? Right? That based on our conversation, you would leave for the next person that sits in your seat.
Oh, this is hard.
I know.
This is hard.
And also, what is a promise that you have made to yourself that you would also share with that next person, right? Especially something that you learned as an adult that you would tell your younger self, and how would you lead that for the next person?
Man, you're good at this. You're good at this. You're good at this.
All right, so I'm going to let you think about that. I'm going to give you
an anchor word, right?
Anchor word.
Okay.
While she's thinking about that, guys, y'all make sure that you tune into the next Courageous Conversation with Dr. Argie. Share, follow, like. Make sure that we are all having courageous conversations together.
Okay.
Got that?
Yes.
All right. And anchor word, promise. A promise that you would make to your younger self based on what you now know. And I want you to share that with the next person in the seat.
Okay. One word?
Nope. Just a promise.
It's a promise to myself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. These prompts is difficult.
You know, we're all on this journey together, and sometimes we are way more aligned than we realize. And that just happened with another person that I had in the seat, where they were like, "Oh my gosh, I love this promise this person gave to me."
Okay. Okay.
All right. Want to share?
Sure. So the anchor word that I chose was reflect.
Mm.
And then the promise, I said, I promise to give myself the grace I give others.
Grace.
Yes.
I love it.
Grace.
Love it. Reflect and grace.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. So everyone gets a book and they sit in the seat. And this is the message from the last person that sat in that lead. And that is for you to take with you, my dear. So you can read that.
The promise is letting go of controlling my experience or how others treat me. Wow.
And was there anchor word?
Letting go, reflect, letting go of controlling my experience or how others treat me. Huh. I like this.
So it's just something for you to take with you. And you're going to leave
you.
the message for the next person. This has been amazing.
Thank you. No, thank you. I felt like I was literally in therapy, which I'm not in right now. And I'm like, Lord.
Listen, my prayer is that everybody has a good therapist on speed dial. Therapy is a great thing for all of us.
It is.
And in the meantime, right, I encourage everybody to keep having these courageous conversations that help us become better versions of ourselves. So thank you so much.
No, thank you. Seriously. Thank you.
Thank you. Awesome.
I have to read your book.
Yes. Well, this copy is yours. I'll sign it.
Thank
Courageous
you.
Conversations Connect. And please come back.
Oh, I will. I will.
This is the first time we've met, but it won't be the last.
Better not be the last.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.